Streaming sports. You're listening to Frankly Speaking Sports with Larry Frank on Northeast Streaming Sports.
Rosie throws the other way. He's got a touchdown, South Florida, and the Bulls upset Auburn.
A last-second heave by the Jayhawks is good, but USF is perfect in the postseason. They're the 2009 WNIT champions over the Jayhawks.
Toward third, Mouse, gloves, she throws. The Bulls are going to the College World Series.
We're going to work hard every day to provide the best student-athlete experience in college athletics. That means providing cutting-edge academic support, welfare services for our students, the largest crowds, the greatest coaches and teachers, and all with integrity in class. We are not here to make excuses. We are here to graduate our student athletes, help them win conference and national titles, and that's what's going to drive us. To our student athletes, it is time to compete, it is time to win, and it's also time to have a lot of fun. Get ready for a fantastic ride.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Bullseye. I'm so happy to be back with you today. I know we got several groups listening to us that are USF fans tonight, and boy, oh boy, do we have an unbelievable treat for you this evening, as in about 20 minutes, we're going to go ahead and have Mo Triner, probably one of the greatest softball players to ever play at the University of South Florida, is going to be joining us, like I said, in about 25 minutes. And it's been a couple of weeks, since we've been on. We want to, take this time for a few minutes to wish the best to Bradley Lewis Walker, my co-host, who will not be on with us tonight. Unfortunately, his mother had passed away, so he's taken, obviously, some time off. Want to welcome Tommy from the Temple Terrace, from the USF area. For those of you that are on, I know we don't have a huge following yet, of USF fans, but if you can maybe, share this to your timeline, share it to a couple other platforms of individuals that may like college sports, may be interested in USF, I would surely appreciate it, because we got an unbelievable show. And we're going to start the show tonight, folks. The first thing we want to go ahead and we want to do is we want to send out big congratulations to former USF standout Jason Pierre-Paul, who obviously this weekend, I think everybody knows it by now, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defeated the Kansas City Chiefs to win the Super Bowl by a score of 31-9. We want to, go ahead and, congratulate Pierre-Paul, who used to play for the Bulls, I believe back in the 2009 season, go all the way back then. He was a standout there. He played a year for us before being drafted in the NFL. So Pierre-Paul and all the Tampa Bay Buccaneer fans, we want to thank you very, very much. We want to congratulate you on a job well done. So, unbelievable win by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and we wanted to make sure that did not go unnoticed. Now, folks, those of you who have been watching us, like I said, for a while, you haven't missed much, because there hasn't been a lot of activity going on, especially when it comes to the men's and women's basketball game. I mean, the men's are supposed to play tomorrow versus number 8 Houston. As of now, that game is on. But, that's one of the difficult things when you have a college, season going on. And obviously this COVID thing obviously struck the University of South Florida in a big way, because neither men's or women's athletics, as far as the basketball team goes anyway, has participated. I think the men's was January 9th was their last game, and January 13th was the woman. Now, the women are planning on playing Tulsa this weekend, Saturday. Now, the Bulls, despite not playing in a month, has still maintained their ranking in the NCAA women's poll. And it's amazing because they only have about 6 games left, unless they figure out how to get some of these postponed games in. So, right now, the women's basketball team, as of today, the latest poll, is ranked number 15. Number 15 in the nation. My goodness gracious. What a great job by the woman basketball program and Coach Jose Fernandez. And, it's got to be tough. You're not playing for a while, and now you got to get back in the sync. And, understand something, folks. Not only have they not been playing, they have not been practicing. They haven't been a lot of practice. So the continuity and the things that were going so well, and the men were even playing well. I mean, it's just hard to keep that in sync. And I'm sure the coaches are doing everything they can, but to keep these guys in shape, to keep them in game shape, has to be real difficult when you don't have any practices or you don't have any games. But we want to wish the men's team luck tomorrow as they take on Houston, number 8. What a tall task without having a game played by Coach Gregory of the men's in the last month. And then we want to wish the women's, hopefully that Tulsa game will be on this Saturday for the 15th ranked USF women's basketball team. But, there has been some sports going on, folks. And if you see me looking at my phone, I'm just checking messages to make sure. Let me just tell her that's fine. So, we want to go ahead and let you know about some of the other sports. First of all, let's congratulate women's soccer. USF last week, 3-0 in their season opener versus FAU in Boca Raton, Florida. Junior forward Sydney Nacello had a goal. She had an assist. And how about freshman defender Vivian Bissett out of Montreal, Canada, comes up in a college debut. She goes ahead and has a goal and assist as well. And then Sabrina, I believe it was Wagner scored the third goal in that game. So congratulations to the women's team. Their conference opener is going to be December 14th at 2 p.m. in Dallas versus SMU. And with that win by the women's soccer team, the Bulls have now won their last 6 season openers dating all the way back to 2014. So congratulations to the women's soccer team. And like I said, they'll open conference just less than a week away, December 14th versus SMU in Dallas. And then the men's soccer team did not fare as well, but what a game they played. They played an intense, tight game with Temple. Lost the game 3-2 in the opener. Victor Claudel, Joshua Morg, each had goals for the Bulls. The Bulls actually outshot Temple 10-9 in this game, despite losing. Claudel actually gave the Bulls a 1-0 lead in this game before Temple took over. Their next game will be Saturday, February 13th, 7 p.m. versus SMU. That's number 8 SMU. So the men's soccer team not playing around. They got number 8 SMU next weekend, or this weekend, I should say, right off the bat at home. They will be playing. So both women's and men's soccer team, we wanted to go ahead and update you on. And there's other sports. Don't think so. How about the men's golf team? As we just rattled down, we didn't have basketball. But I'll tell you one thing. That's the thing about the spring, or we call it late winter. You got baseball starting next week. You got softball starting next week. So we're going to go ahead and keep you in touch with as much of the sports as we can. But men's golf, let's go ahead and give them credit, man, where credit's due. Standout Albin Bergstrom shot a 3-under par 69 in the final round of the season open Tamakawana Collegiate tournament, en route to becoming number 3 finisher. Number 3 for USF by Albin Bergstrom. What a great job. The gentleman from Sweden shot a 67, 71, and 69 for a three-point combined total of 207. He was just 4 shots behind the leader. So congratulations to Albin. Also for the men's golf team in the top 30, Kyle Flexenhar from Lake Mary, Florida, tied for 26 with a 3-round total of 215. And then Sam Nicholson was just a shot behind him at 216, tied for 29. So a great job by the men. And just when you thought it couldn't get better, how about the women's golf team? Incredible by the woman. They were in this Paradise, I think it was an FAU Paradise Invitational. They finished 4th out of 13 teams, and these were some top-rated teams in this tournament, and the Bulls showed that they could hang with them. Melanie Green came in second. She had a par of 211, shot a 69, and 73, 36-hole total of 6 under, par 38, third best all time by a USF Bull. Just incredible by Melanie. Then listen to all these folks that win this is incredible. You got top 10, junior, Ashley Zagers, tied for 9th, had an even par at 216. Junior, Jessica Whitting, tied for 13, 2 over par at 218. Erica Smith, tied for 23rd, 6 over at 222. Shelby Bruckmuller, tied for 29th, 7 over 223. That's 5 Bulls in the top 30 for the woman in an unbelievable ranked tournament that was just incredible competition. Oh my goodness, congratulations to the USF women's golf team. Just a great, great, great job. We're so proud of you. And, you know, the 54 whole team total of 861 points broke previous USF record of 864 set in 2015, 2016 by 3 strokes. So just an incredible, incredible job. We wanted to make sure we mentioned men's soccer. We try to give as many of the sports as much time as we can to make sure that we can. I know there was volleyball in there a couple of weeks ago. I know on the season, the women's volleyball team is 2-2, so they're playing at a 500 clip. So we want to congratulate them as well. So although there is no basketball going on, there is a lot of things going on at USF with the athletic department. Like I said earlier, baseball and softball are about to spring up on us this upcoming week. We are looking so forward to that. I mean, let me tell you, that is going to be so much fun. But, you know, going back to the basketball teams, and, you know, the women were playing so well. So well were they playing. They were, you know, they beat Mississippi State. They almost beat Baylor. They were just playing some great, not only, it wasn't really individuals, it was everybody playing well together. Every single night with the women, it was somebody different carrying that team. And, you know, I just can't wait till they get back on the court, and hopefully they can play more consistent games, because who knows what's going on with March Madness. You know, haven't heard anything that they weren't having it. And definitely this is a USF team that by far should make it, will make it. You know, I'm confident enough to say the March Madness for the woman. And don't be surprised if they get to the Final Four this year in the women's college basketball tournament, because this is an unbelievable team. And, you know, the men were starting to play well. Remember, the men lost a couple of games that they had big leads in the second half. They had some huge leads in the second half. Unfortunately, they blew those leads. They ended up losing those games, but they were playing real well. And, you know, here's a team that, you know, I believe they won their last game before they went ahead and had all these postponements. But, you know, life does take a course, folks. Unfortunately, the COVID-19 is, you know, affecting all of us in different ways and different ways at universities. So we can only hope that sooner rather than later, this is all dealt with and we can go back to living as normal of a life as we all, you know, can possibly do. Once again, if those of you on the line, we are about 6 minutes away from having one of the greatest softball players to ever play at University of South Florida, Mo Triner, coming on with us. You can go ahead and share this to as many timelines of your friends. This is going to be a great interview. This is going to be one heck of an interview. You don't want to miss it. Don't let your friends miss it. You know, if you're listening, go ahead. Please share it, whether it's on, you know, YouTube, whether it's on one of our other networks. Go ahead and share this to your timeline. Share it to your friends. I guarantee you this is an interview, especially if you're a USF fan, that you're definitely going to want to see. Let's go ahead and take a quick station break, and we'll be back right after this.
I'm so excited about the Stampede for Women because it's high time that we find ways to find more community support for our women student athletes and our teams and programs, not only in terms of developing championship resources to continue our great tradition of success with women's sports and to propel that even further, but also just to build support for it in terms of attendance at our games and to find ways for mentoring opportunities and other ways for women in the community here to build relationships with the strong women we have here at USF Athletics.
I really love that the idea a bunch of women, powerful, influential women within the community and within USF are getting that opportunity to rise together. And when we come together and affect change, I think it helps everyone.
Well, women's athletics at USF has progressed to the point that we are viable right now for national championships. And I'm excited to actually get to know the people that are ready to help the women at USF today.
I'm just so proud of the programs we have, the women's sports programs we have here at USF now, and the way they're having great success. But it's a key initiative for me and our entire department to find ways to propel them even further.
I really love what USF is doing. I love the initiative that our new athletic director is taking us. We're trying to affect change in a positive way, and I hope everybody wants to be a part of that.
If we can have the women in this community provide leadership and guidance to our female student athletes, I think it's going to be an unbelievable bond between women in our community, our student athletes, and our coaching staffs to gain better knowledge of USF athletics, to work hand in hand with sports, and most importantly, our student athletes. And this partnership with women leaders to help every women's athletics program here at USF grow, it's an incredible opportunity.
Get involved. You can make a difference. You could be that messenger of the future. You could pass on the lessons that you've learned for the greater good of society.
And you'll have a direct line with coaches like myself. You'll feel appreciated, and the reward that you're going to get will be something that is going to go on for years and years.
You're listening to Frankly Speaking Sports with Larry Frank on Northeast Streaming Sports.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Bullseye. Want to welcome everybody back. Once again, if you're just joining us, please go ahead, share this to your timeline. We are a couple minutes away from having Mo Triner on with us, former USF great softball player, Florida Southern College coach will be joining us. So we're looking forward to that. And for those of you that can please go ahead, share this to your timeline. We would surely appreciate it. Do want to remind you that once again, every Tuesday night, we are on Bullseye. Every Tuesday night, we have a special guest, former USF player, whether it's basketball, softball, baseball, football, volleyball, soccer, whatever sport it is. This is your channel. This is our USF channel so that we can support USF and the great athletes that have formerly played with USF and that are currently playing with USF. So for those of you that are not yet a Facebook group page of a member of ours, go to Bullseye, all capital letter, 2 words, BULLS, space I, and join today and have your friends join as well. You can also follow me, Larry Frank, at Larry Frank with the US at the end, Frankus, on Twitter. We also have a YouTube page, Frankly Speaking Sports. So, a lot of you belong already to Frankly Speaking Sports and crewlife.com. Go ahead, join Bullseye. We're trying to make University of South Florida. We want to put this school on the map here in Tampa Bay. For too long, for some reason, people here in Tampa are rooting for the wrong team, either UF, that school, FSU, or Miami, UCF. We live in Tampa. This is USF country, and we're going to make this the biggest, best sports college area in the United States of America. And the only way we can do that is with your help. So please, as we're about to bring on Mo, please go ahead and share this to your timeline, share it to a couple friends' timeline. We are about to have, a great interview here, and we're looking forward to it. So let's go ahead, and without further ado, let's bring in former USF softball great. She was also an assistant coach for USF. She's in the USF Hall of Fame, and I believe she is still, I know she is because it's only been probably less than a year, Florida Southern softball coach. Let's welcome in Mo Triner. Mo, how you doing?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us. I really do appreciate that. Mo, let me ask you this. You're in high school, okay? Now, I know we got to go back in time here, but I'm going to help you, okay? We're in high school, you're Florida Player of the Year, 6A Player of the Year, so many other Player of the Years. You had hardly an ERA. I think it was 0.09 ERA. I think all 4 seasons you bat over 400 in high school. When you had to make a decision on where you want to go to college, what made you decide USF?
Well, recruiting was way different back then. We didn't have the computer, we didn't have a lot of that stuff. So it was more about I went to a few camps, and I went to the USF camp, and Ken Erickson was working there, and Michelle Smith was there. And so I got to learn from the two of them. And the more I worked with Ken, the more I liked what he taught. And I really, I understood what he taught. And it became down to a couple other schools, and Tampa is very close to where I grew up, so why not stay there and just, continue my education there.
Now, Mo, I understand, and correct me if I'm wrong, but in high school, you were a pretty decent volleyball player as well. Did you ever think, obviously volleyball goes on, unfortunately, in the college level, it coincides with softball, but did you ever have to come to a decision, which one am I going to play?
Well, volleyball I just did for fun. Like it was, something in the off season to kind of keep me in shape. And, my biggest thing with volleyball was I just tried to hit the ball as hard as I could. And, there were other people on the other side, and, sometimes, it just would bounce around over there. But when I got to USF, they had asked me if I was interested in doing both. And I declined. I said, no, my love is softball, and I really wanted to just focus everything on softball.
Now, most people, it's a transition period from high school to college. Now you're going from a high school to a big university. You realize when you get to the university that a lot of the people that are playing the same sport as you are actually up to the same level as you, if not better than you already. And it's your freshman year where most people would have butterflies, but not for you, was it? You come out there your freshman year, you break every single record you can imagine. You throw a no-hitter, you have 21 wins. Talk about that first year playing for USF. And I know you had butterflies. You're normal just like everybody else. But how were you able to keep everything, in line and be able to concentrate so much on having that type of year?
Honestly, it was more about just going out there and having fun with my friends more than anything else. I didn't really worry about, the accolades. I didn't worry about the statistics. That was never really a thought in my head. And, it was more about let's go out there and have a good time and let's beat some people. And, that was kind of like our mentality. Like the girls that I played with, they were tough as nails. I knew that they had my back and they knew I had their back. And without question, we had a good time. Like we enjoyed, I enjoyed every second of the time I was on the field. And, it was more about that than really the numbers in all the records and all that kind of stuff. Like I was literally just going and playing every day and trying to get better, but just having fun.
Now, what was the biggest transition for you, Mo? From high school to college that you had to really conquer quickly in order to be able to perform?
I think the biggest adjustment for me was understanding that I couldn't just throw it by people and I couldn't overpower people. I had to learn how to pitch. And mechanically, when I was in high school, I could just throw hard because I was bigger than everybody else and I could overpower people. But then when I got to college, I realized that you have to use the inside part of the plate. You have to have a changeup. You need to move the ball around. You can't just rely on your brute strength, which is what I used to do. I joke with Ken about it all the time, but that was kind of like my thought process. I'm bigger, I'm stronger, and I'll try to overpower you rather than be good at pitching. And while at my freshman year I had to learn real quick that you need to be able to own both sides of the plate. You need to make sure that you hit your spots and all those kind of things.
Yeah, and obviously that's just like baseball when it comes to pitching. Now, did you have a secondary pitch? I know you had the fastball, but did you have a go-to pitch?
Well, my favorite pitch is the drop ball because I could throw it harder than my fastball. And then really, it kind of evolved. I mean, my curveball became better and better every year, and then my changeup got better, and which I still wasn't my favorite, but I threw it a lot and sometimes right down the middle of the plate, and it got smacked right back at me. But for the most part, my drop ball was my favorite pitch.
Now, Mo, I know you're not into statistics. I know you're a team player. I know that about you just from watching the way you played the game, the way you coach, and all that. But out of all the records you do hold at USF or share at USF, is there one that you take very personal that, out of all those, let's say 15 or whatever they are, that you say, I'm really, really proud more than the other ones?
And this is going to be shocking, but I think my walks as a batter, because I think I led for a long time in the number of walks for my career. I feel like that one says a lot about me as a hitter. Not only could I hit the ball over the fence, but I could, I had a good eye, and I hit for average, and I took a lot of walks too.
And it helps when your pitcher can hit, because then they don't have to ever pull you from the game. So I guess that's a good thing that you were able to hit.
You hope.
Yeah.
Because if you're bad at both, you might get yanked twice.
There you go. Now, talk about getting drafted in the Women's Professional Softball League. I mean, I believe it was here in Tampa that you actually, if it's the Fire Sticks, if I remember what they were called back then, I don't know if they still are. But, you got drafted. How big of a deal was it for you when you first heard you got drafted?
It was, very humbling. It's funny because, I laugh with my kids now, but when I talk about, we didn't have computers and all that kind of stuff. So everything you heard of was, a couple of days behind of when it really happened. But I found out about it, and, it's cool because I used to go watch the games when they were at the USF baseball field in like 97 when it was the inaugural league, and then 98. And so I knew a lot of the girls. I mean, one game I was the bat girl for the game, and I was in college. It was kind of bizarre, but but it was neat. And then I got to actually be on the field with those girls and play with them, and it was very cool.
So at what point of your career, here you are playing now professionally, when did it hit you? And maybe it was before you even, while you were still in college, but when did you make the conscious decision that you'd like to get into coaching?
I think it was when I worked the camps we had a December winter camp, and then the summer camps at USF when I was a player. And, I realized that I had a lot of fun with the kids, and I feel like I learned more as a player when I was doing the camps, because I could tell little kids what they're doing, and then I'd be like, I do that same thing. That's just weird, So I feel like over the years, I learned a lot more about myself and, just being body aware and all that kind of stuff by doing those camps. And then, I realized I had fun doing that kind of stuff. And then, I don't know, I was playing the pro league, and I got a couple phone calls asking if I was interested in coaching, and here I am.
Now you have to transition. Now, before we talk about transition over to coach, did you ever find it, because usually when you have somebody that's interested in coaching, a leader on a team like you are, you find yourself, even when you're playing, you're coaching. You're doing something, you're helping someone, even maybe going up to the coach, hey, coach, I think this. Did you find yourself doing that when you were playing the game?
Sometimes. I mean, there were some times where, Coach Erickson would call a pitch, and I would look over at the dugout like, I don't want to throw that. And then I would shake it off with the catcher, and then she'd shoot it to me again. That means Ken's calling it, you better throw it. So, but there were times, I mean, there are some things where you kind of look at it and you're like, all right. And, I'm one of those kind of people who, if I trust what you're calling and what you're doing, and if you say this is the best play for us, then that's what I'm going to do.
Now, transitioning from playing to coach, here you are where you always are being told and, you're being coached up. What things did you learn from Coach Erickson while you were playing that you carried over to your coaching career? And what was the most difficult part for you to transition from player now to coach?
I mean, Coach Erickson taught me so much about the game. I mean, he's like a novel of information. So like, you're always picking up things from him and you're always trying to incorporate different things. I mean, the biggest thing that I try to, get the kids that I coach to understand is that we're all different. Everyone's body types are different. So there's not one way to do something. So when we're talking about explaining a way to hit or explaining a way to pitch, it's more about a generalization of this is what it could be. But, like me, I'm way bigger than a lot of kids. So when I explain something to them, they look at me like, I can't do that. You're twice as big as me or 3 times as big as me. So, to get them to understand that it's the motion and it's the technique that matters rather than, just, this crazy motion.
Now, when they find out and that you played the game at a high level and performed very well at that high level, does that help you a lot in building the confidence in those kids where they can say, okay, she understands where we come from. She's been there?
I mean, honestly, some of my kids, I don't even know that they know I played. We don't really talk about it. It's more about, when I work with some of these little kids, it was more about just, them trusting me and really working and letting them know that I know what I'm talking about. So as we go through it, it's more just kind of like a relationship and a friendship rather than, oh, you're Mo. I mean, there's a couple of them that have played on the Little League field that's named after me. And I said, you know that field? They're like, yeah. I said, that's named after me. They're like, oh, you're Monica. So it's just kind of funny.
Yeah, I can see that. But I mean, there's got to be times, where these kids, they're making a big transition, a big adjustment for them coming to college, especially now you're being a head coach where I'm sure you got to use some of the experiences you had when you were their age to help them understand it.
Oh yeah, like the kids that are on my team now, like we joke about things and I still get out there and pitch to them. Like there are days like in the fall, we didn't have all our team there because of the COVID restrictions. So we only had half the team and I only had a couple pitchers. And so one of the girls was hurt and I was like, all right, scrimmage. And I'm pitching one half. And they're like, and then we joke about it all the time because they're like, Coach, you still got it. You still got it. So, but I mean, I think that they respect me and they, appreciate what I bring to the table. And they respect, I think, the fact that, I do like to have a good time. It's not all, strict like this. We do have a good time. And, I like to get out there and challenge them sometimes. And, I talk smack to them and try to get them to see that, they have more inside them than sometimes they feel like they do.
Yeah. Now, you were assistant coach for a while back at your alma mater. How did the opportunity come about to become the head coach at Florida Southern?
Well, I got out of coaching in 2015 and, I was just, I think I burned myself out a little bit because I was doing lessons all the time. I was recruiting every weekend. And then, just the college schedule in itself is demanding. So I just took a back seat a little bit and I got out of coaching. I just did lessons for a while. And then one of my former players, Carla Claudio, she's on the Puerto Rican national team. She called me and was like, hey, would you be interested in coaching being our pitching coach for the Puerto Rican national team? And I was like, yes. And so then I went to the Pan Am Games with them and I went to the Olympic qualifier. And while I was there, I realized how much I really did miss that atmosphere and miss coaching. And then when I got back from the Pan Am Games, Coach Bellato from Florida Southern had called me and was like, are you interested in get back into coaching? And I said, yeah, how did you know? So she brought me on over on an interview and was like, I'm going to be retiring in the next few years. Would you be interested in being an assistant? And I said, for sure. So here I am.
Now, recruiting's tough enough, as you said, but I mean, how difficult being a new coach has this been on you with COVID-19 and all the restrictions as far as recruiting goes? I mean, that's got to be hard for any coach, yet a new coach.
It's been extremely hard just because the fact that, we're limited. We were limited at the beginning. We couldn't go out recruiting, so everything we had to do was on video. And for me, I don't really trust video because you can, manipulate the videos and all this kind of stuff. But and then we were getting bombarded by all the videos on it, and our emails and stuff. So it was a lot to go through. And I feel like at first I was getting overwhelmed, and I was like, my mailbox was full every single day. And then as time went on, then we were able to go out a little bit. And, we're just trying to build our database right now of, kids that we have in each class that we want to continue to watch. And, and we're trying to go out and see as many kids as we can. So
now, as a coach, what is it, let's say we have certain people right now watching at the high school level. They're about to make a decision on where they want to go to school, maybe to play softball. What is it that Coach Triner looks for in a recruit?
I'm big on kids that can play multiple positions. I definitely like pitchers that hit, and just kids that are athletes. Like, I don't want just the kid that goes and just can do one thing. I like kids that can, they can throw a football, they can hit a golf ball, all kinds of different, different skills. I think that sometimes we limit them too much to where they only do one thing. And, they are kids, and let them play whatever they want. I like the athletes.
So now when the kids come out, they play. It's the beginning of the season, Coach. I mean, you have that first meeting for them. I mean, I know there's certain expectations. I'm not saying to go ahead and tell me, your entire speech, you tell them. But I know there's certain things you look for from players. What do you tell them? I mean, I know you're up front with them, but what do you tell them? Hey, this is what I'm looking for. Hey, you either have it or you don't have it. I mean, what's that first talk like?
I think the big thing is we always tell them when they walk through the gate at the field to leave everything else out there. Don't bring all their negativity on the field. They got to bring it every single day. They need to give 100%, and really just be a good teammate. If you can be a good teammate, you can build each other. And I feel like the more that the girls on the team push each other, the better we're going to get. So, and that's one of the things I just keep telling them, like, we have to make each other better, and I'll push you every day. You can push me every day, but we got to get better as a unit. And then that's going to make us stronger. And then, another thing I tell them is just be a good person. If you walk by a piece of trash on the field, pick it up. If you see someone that needs something, reach down and help them. Don't just walk by people just because you don't feel like it, or it's not your nature to talk to people. Just do it. Like, it doesn't hurt you.
Yep. And, there was a question. I almost lost my thought there. Coach, I knew what I was going to ask. The season, it's supposed to get started here pretty quickly. Is everything still going on as planned? Does Florida Southern plan on opening up on the scheduled date, or have they changed that?
Well, we don't have a schedule yet, but our coaches in the conference, we came together last Friday, and we put out, put up a plan for the ADs and the presidents to kind of agree on, or to approve for us to have a 30-game schedule. And, it'd be no overnight stays. Everything would be socially distanced. And we would play only teams in our conference, which there's a lot of teams in our conference, so that's a good thing. And then we would do like one midweek doubleheader. Like it would be maybe if that game's away, then that Saturday we would play home. So those are still some of the things we're trying to work out right now. That everything's not final. We don't have a schedule yet, but the plan is to start the beginning of March and go until May.
Coach, before I let you run, a couple of final questions, and I'll probably just put them together here. Talk about first what it meant to be honored and placed in the USF Hall of Fame, Athletic Hall of Fame, and talk about what USF meant to you as a person as far as to get you where you are today.
Wow. I mean, that was probably one of the best honors of my career, was to be inducted into the Hall of Fame, and to be this first softball player in the Hall of Fame was pretty special. I tell this story all the time, but I got the phone call that I was going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame from, Buccaneer great and former athletic director at USF, Leroy Selman. He called me, and I was like, wow, Leroy Selman's calling me on my phone. So of course I answered it. And, and he just told me that, congratulations and all this kind of stuff. So, and I don't know if I was more excited about that or if I was excited about his phone call. That was the cool part. But it was really special. It was really cool to see my teammates. I had a lot of my teammates came back, to support me. And, I couldn't have done it without my teammates. My coaches were huge on my success. My parents were huge. So to have all those people involved in that ceremony was pretty special for me.
Yeah, I'm sure that.
And then I was just going to say, when that whole event went on and it was kind of, we were on the football field, and then a lot of the girls that couldn't come to the Hall of Fame induction, they went to the football game when we got recognized. And it was really special to me.
Yeah, I can only imagine how special that was. Well, Mo, we want to thank you so very, very much for joining us tonight on Bullseye. We really enjoyed having you and want to, hopefully you get the season underway, and we want to wish you and Florida Southern the best of luck this year.
Well, I appreciate it, and I'll always be a Bull at heart, so go Bulls.
All right, go Bulls. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
All right, be safe. That was Mo Triner, head coach of Florida Southern College and former USF great. What a great interview that was with Mo. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Love to get some feedback on from you guys on what you thought of that interview. So please don't be shy. I know some of you are on right now. We would love to go ahead and hear from you. Let's go ahead and take a quick break, and we'll be back to Bullseye right after this.
We stand united. Our big and mighty noble to see. USF will lead. USF will always be. With all might, we fight the battle here and now, and we will win the victory. S-O-U-T-A. F-L-O-R-I-D-N. Southwood, Southwood. Go!
Share your version at usffightsong.com.
You're listening to Frankly Speaking Sports with Larry Frank.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Bullseye. What a night it's been. Gone over a lot of stuff here, with the Bulls. If you have any questions, anybody wants to leave any comments, and we want to thank Eric. Already we're getting compliments coming in from everywhere on that great interview with head coach of the Florida Southern Moccasins, Mo Triner. Eric, thank you so much for that comment. It was an awesome interview. Thank you, Eric, a regular listener all the way from Gainesville, Florida. But want to remind you, a lot is going on. Baseball season starting this upcoming weekend. Softball starting this upcoming weekend. We got more soccer matches. We got more golf matches coming up. You heard unbelievable how these the golf teams are doing. They're very competitive, a joy to watch. So, we're very happy to see them doing real well. We had a great buddy, former USF football player, Jason Pierre-Paul, win the Super Bowl this year. Unbelievable time for the Tampa Bay area, and I can't wait till the women's and men's basketball team get back on the court, because when you look at Tampa Bay right now, and I know we have a lot of listeners that are big-time Tampa Bay fans, you got the Lightning, which we'll be talking about. We'll go over that in a moment tomorrow on Frankly Speaking Sports. But, you know, a couple of things. You got the Lightning that won the Stanley Cup. You got the Rays that got to the World Series and were very competitive in the World Series. We have the Buccaneers that are Super Bowl champions. We have the Rowdies that went to the championship game before it being postponed in soccer. We have the USF women's basketball team that could be fighting. I know it sounds ridiculous to some folks, but they're in the midst of getting in March Madness. Who knows what can happen? Who knows what kind of streak Jose Fernandez gets these kids on? They were playing such great basketball. They had one loss. They're ranked number 15 in the nation. You never know. Could they compete for a national championship? Tampa Bay, Titletown, USA. Unbelievable. I just can't believe what's going on here in Tampa Bay. But the first things first, we got to get them back on the court. We got to get over this epidemic that is just destroying all of us the past 12 months. It's pretty much the end of this month or the beginning of March is the, I don't want to say it's not a happy anniversary, but it's the anniversary of COVID-19 hitting our area. So, nothing would be better than to celebrate with it being out of here and these vaccines all getting to the necessary people to keep them from getting this terrible epidemic that is surrounding us right now. But, it was a great, great show. Tomorrow night on Frankly Speaking Sports, for those of you that are watching, and we'll put a promo out on it. We're going to get back to our normally scheduled programming. We're going to go ahead tomorrow night on Frankly Speaking Sports beginning at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. We're going to talk some Lightning hockey. Like Eric Erlinson, the Lightning Insider, he's on WDAE radio all the time, breaking down the Tampa Bay Lightning. We're going to break down, the Lightning quietly have been playing unbelievable hockey here, in Tampa Bay. I believe they have one loss in 10 games, and I'm going to see for you folks real quickly here. Right now, the Lightning are in period 2 with 15:47 left in the second period. The Lightning are up 3-1. They are 8-1-1 on the season. The Tampa Bay Lightning are. And if we look here, 2 assists for Point, 2 for Sergachev. We got a goal and an assist for Stamkos, a goal for Joseph, and a goal for Palat. So unbelievable what the Tampa Bay Lightning are doing. 8-1-1 in their first 10 games. We'll talk about them tomorrow on Frankly Speaking Sports with Eric. And if we get time tomorrow night, you never know, we might talk some Rays. And we're going to also talk about, as the Tampa Bay Buccaneer football season has concluded and is coming to the end, there's going to be some free agents that we need to re-sign. We're going to talk about those free agents and which ones we should prioritize. So we'll do that tomorrow as well. So some unbelievable shows coming up. Of course, we're going to continue to try to get the best guests that we can get on the air right now. I mean, we're planning on having several more people right now. We aren't going to talk about our guest on Thursday because I want to make a special announcement about that. But tomorrow night, once again, Eric Erlinson, Lightning Insider, will be joining us live at 9 p.m. on Frankly Speaking Sports. For those of you that we want to thank all of you that continue to watch Bullseye. We're trying real hard to build this up and get as many USF fans as we can. It takes time. We know Rome wasn't built in an evening, but we're going to keep trying it next week. Hope to have my buddy Bradley Lewis Walker back with us. And we'll see who we get on next week. We want to thank Mo Triner very, very much for coming on this evening. What an incredible interview. You know, for those of you that want to play softball, I'll tell you what, this woman is terrific. I mean, not only was she one of the greatest players to ever play at USF, but she's an amazing coach. Everybody you talk about, coaching, it takes a very special person to be able to coach. I mean, coaching is educating. Coaching is understanding. Coaching is knowing how to get the same, how to get results out of people, not necessarily the same way. It's just a difficult thing to do. And she does it so well. And I'm so happy for her to see her coaching, the Florida Southern Moccasins. Great job for Mo. I'm real proud of her. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of myself, we want to thank you very much for joining us on Bullseye. Once again, join us tomorrow night on Frankly Speaking Sports platform and our Crew Life platform as we will present Frankly Speaking Sports with Eric Erlinson. Until next Tuesday on Bullseye at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Everyone have a good night, be safe, and go Bulls.